it could be anything, Primavera or Microsoft project. Okay. Now this entire data, activity weightage, right? This entire data is coming from the weightages you have assigned. Getting it? Are you getting it or not? So if there is something like CRS inspection and approval and you are getting these weightages, so how it is working? Let us try to understand. Okay. So if I'll go here, so let's cut it out. Weightages. Okay. All right. So let's say add the project label. Weightage would be 100. There would be again one total weightage would be 100. And then there would be certain like 33. Like this. So this is the activity which is highlighted here, and how the weightage is coming. This activity which have 33 weightage is the part of WBS label 5, whose internal weightage is 100. And again, this is the part of some WBS where the weightage is 100. And again, this is the part of a WBS whose weightage is 10. So it may have some more, but this is the part of which one where the weightage is 10. And again, this is the part of where the weightage is equals to 17. And this 17 is the part of the project where the total weightage is 100. So this is how. Getting it? Right? And we have also discussed that how we can calculate the overall weightage. So overall weightages will be coming from, if you will multiply all these, so this is how you will get the overall multiplication, and this is the total, grand total. And to convert it into weightages, this is what you can do. Multiplication of this divided by total. Understood? So this is how you'll get the weightages at the activity label. Make sense? For now, all I'm going to do is I'll hide this. Okay. So that I can get some more space to talk about. Now see, here is a formula, and this is the same formula which was written over there. Now it has certain things. Q is what? Q is the column and 2 is the row, and row 2 denotes the month and date. So if you'll see at the top, this is January 19, February 19, March 19, but it have the last date of the month at the back end. And then again, start date, finish date, and the overall weightage. So these are the 4 things. Each and every month's last date, start and end date of the activity, and the overall weightage. Getting it? Now come back and try to understand the formula. So again, this is the same formula. So it has 3 conditions. First condition, where the activity is in progress, then how the progress will be measured. Second condition, when the activity is completed. And the third condition, where activity is not started. So my questions from all of you is, if the activity will have status as not started, let's say there is a project which have only one single activity and the status of that activity is not started, what do you think, what will be the progress of a project, and what will be the progress in case of if that activity is completed? I want answers in the chat. Come on. The project have only one single activity and the status of activity is not started, then what will be the progress of the project? And if the status will be completed, then what will be the progress of? Okay, so let's try to write a formula. If, and here you'll see like I'm getting three things. If, and you have to give the condition. If that, and condition means logical text, or this logical text is nothing but the condition. So you have to give the condition, and if the condition will be true, then what should be the result? And if the condition will be false, what should be the result? So I'm giving the condition. If this cell means G155 is greater than H115, if this is the condition, if G is greater than H, then comma, write down yes, otherwise write down no. This is the formula, and I'll press the enter. So see what is the answer. No, why? Because 23 is not greater than 25. That is why the answer is no. And let's try to reverse it. I'll give here the value as 21. See the answer. No. Yes. Correct. So this is how the if condition works. And let's come back here. Right. So it is saying and condition, and both these conditions to satisfy. Meaning like Q is what? Current month. And current month last date. Current month last date. Okay. If the current month last date is greater than or equals to T3, that means, let us take an example. There is an activity A, start date and finish date. Okay. And the start date is, let's say, 5 of January. And the finish date is 10th of Feb. Okay. This is the start date and finish date. Right. And the current month is January. That means the last date, that means 31st of January. 31st of January. Right. So if Q2 is greater than or equals to C3, that means, okay, that means if the current month date is greater than or equals to C3, and C3 is a start date. So see here, does 31st is greater than 5 of January? Yes, of course, 31st comes after 5th of January, so it is greater. And let's check the second condition. Q2 is less than or equals to D3. So 31st is less than or equals to 10th of February. Yes, it is also satisfied. That means both these conditions are satisfied. And that is the meaning, like 31st of January is coming in between the start date and end date, and that denotes that activity is in progress, because it might have started, because the start date was 5th of January and today is 31st, current month, finish date is in next month. That is meaning like activity is in progress. So if the activity is in progress, this is the formula how the progress will be measured. What is the formula? Current month last date minus baseline start date divided by baseline start date minus baseline finish date minus baseline start date multiplied by weightages. What is the meaning? 31st minus 5. What is the gap between 31st and 5? 26 days. Divided by baseline finish date minus baseline start date. What is the start date? 5th of January. And what is the finish date? 10th of February. So the gap is how many days? 36 days. And multiplied by the weightages. This plus 1 is just because the data is coming into Excel. So if you'll try to find out the gap of duration in software and in Excel, you'll find that it is plus 1, right? And that is why we have added plus 1. So if you are exporting the data from Primera P6, you have to put down this plus 1, otherwise no need, right? So 26 divided by 36 multiplied by the weightage of activity. So this is what will give you the correct result. What is the progress of your activity on that particular day? That means the last day of the month, 31st of January. Is it clear? So this is the very first condition, if formula. So if this logic is, if this logic, if this particular logic, let me repeat it. If this particular logic is true, then this is something which you have to give as a true value. And if this is not true, look into another part, which is this. Okay, this one. So if it is, if the activity is not in progress, you have to look into another two conditions. If Q2 is greater than D3, that means the last date of the month is greater than the finish date. Then it will assign the overall total weightage. Getting it? And if that is also not satisfied, that means the activity is not started yet and the weightages will be 0. This one. Is that clear? See, wherever you don't have actual start, actual finish, we are copying the early start and early finish. So this is the formula used for that. If is blank G3, that means if the G column have blank value, then instead of this, copy the value from E column to the G3. This is how the formula is being used. So wherever you see blank in actual start and actual finish, the early start and early finish are being copied, and where you see the values, these actual values are being copied, and that is only the difference, and rest all the formulas same, and this is how you will get the actual progress of the project as well, right? And after this, After this is how the table is being used, and this is how you will get the progress. And now when it comes to preparing an S curve, you will simply select this entire table, go to insert, go to recommended charts, and pull out this line chart. After pulling, you just have to go here, remove the expected month, planned monthly, actual monthly, and this is how you have to select only 3 curves, click here on OK, and this is how the curve will looks like. Does it make sense to every one of you how to prepare the S curve? And when it comes to this curve, this is also will be prepared in the same way. You can select the entire table, go to insert, go to recommended charts, all charts, and here you can select this column. And you select this column, you have to remove the unwanted data. So you don't want cumulative this time. This is how you will see only the planned and actual of the individual month. Is it clear how you can prepare the monitoring curve and how it is quite easy to read out the information? Any questions in this topic before we move ahead in another one? It's coming from software, you don't have to care about this. These yellow are the manual values, that means the weightages, but the multiplication of all these values, and this total weightage is coming from this multiplication divided by the overall multiplication factor which came. So that means like you will get the overall weightage of each and every activity. Now you just have to put this formula in Excel. This is the most important one, most important formula which you have to put in Excel. One in this in planned and one in this actual. These are the two things only. Getting it? These are the only two things which you have to put, planned and actual. And in terms of calculation, and this table is nothing. Here you don't have to calculate actually anything. You can simply do what? Planned cumulative is nothing but the copy of this entire line and this entire line. If you'll see, these are all the same. Similarly, from the actual table, you have to copy the actual progress. And then if you have cumulative progresses, then how you have to find out the monthly. Meaning like, let's say I said like, okay, January, February, and March. And I'm saying like the cumulative progresses 5%, 12%, and 18%, right? So what will be the monthly progress? How you will find out? For the January, it will remain as 5. And for the February, how much it will be? 12 minus 5. Cumulative of Feb minus cumulative of Jan. And similarly here, cumulative of March minus cumulative of Feb. 6%. So this is how this entire calculation of the table has been drawn, and then you will go to insert and you will bring the chart. This is how it is being drawn. Is it clear, Abdul? Earned value provides a method that permits the project to be measured by progress achieved. The project manager is then able to use the progress measured to forecast a project total cost and date of completion based on the trend. Okay. What is the benefit of this? See, what happens is when I talk about the when I talk about the regular monitoring of the project, what you are doing, you are monitoring the current You are monitoring the current progresses. Bear with me. Uh, you are monitoring the current progresses, right? That okay, today is the project progress 5%, 10%. Today we have the cash flow of this much. This is the overall expense till now. We never talk about the future. And this analysis, EVA and value analysis, gives you an opportunity to forecast the project progress based on what is happening today. The meaning like whatever the project's progress you are getting today, okay, based on the today's progress in the project, it is allowing you to forecast the project total cost and date. That means the progress. Meaning like if today your project have 25% progress, if it was planned to have 30%, right? Then makes sense. So it basically known as actual cost of work performed, earned value, which is also known as this is of 10 days. The overall project duration is 10 days. Project duration is of 10 days. And the total cost is 40,000. This much is clear to you. Now tell me one thing. If I say that in 10 days you are going to expend 40,000, then how much should be the expenditure in one day? In one day, how much should be the expenditure? If in 10 days you are expending 40,000, give me an answer on the chat. How much you should expend in one day? I'm talking in a normal situation, 4,000, right? The duration is 10 days and the total cost is 40,000. This is how the analysis works. Okay, during this analysis, it will predict, okay, in one day, you have to counter 4,000, and in 10 days, if the progress is 100%, then in one day, it should be around 10%. Is it clear? Right? This is something what you have told me. This is something what you have told me that, okay, sir, project. So let's talk about the indices first. Should equals to or greater than 1 indicate a favorable condition, and the value of less than 1 indicates an unfavorable condition. So see what will happen. If EV is equals to PV, then the maximum value will be 1. Now before you move ahead and try to understand, let us see what is this SPIN. CPI. So SPI is Scheduled Performance Index. So this is an index which gives an answer, okay, which gives an answer whether your project is having favorable condition or it is running smoothly, or you have certain unfavorable condition in terms of schedule. That means in terms of time. And then cost performance index. In terms of cost, plan. And this is not the favorable condition. Are you clear with these three things, every one of you? Okay. It is as per the plan. And if the value is greater than 0, it means you are going good, ahead of schedule. And if the value is less than 0, then meaning like negative value, it indicates unfavorable condition. That is, you are running late or delay in your schedule in terms of cost and also in terms of money. Makes sense this? Now simply what you have to do, you have find out these three things in your project. Calculation CPI is 0.9. So what you have to do, simply, okay, 0.9 is the value of CPI is equals to, okay, budgeted cost. And what is the budgeted cost? Let's put it as an X. Sorry. Your project is delayed and it will now complete in 44,444 rupees instead of 40,000. Getting it? And similarly for the schedule, something which was getting completed on 10 days, it will take now 12 days something approximate. And this is the benefit of this analysis, and this is how the analysis helps you. Zero today. Why? Because there's not a complete setup. In the next session, might be we will take some time and we will try to see that this same example we will try to execute in the software, and you will see like software will also important formulas. But yes, overall whatever I have taught you, that is more than